It's time for an update on gold, which got very overbought a few weeks ago, and it's now at a point where I am looking to actually reduce my hedge. So before I talk about what I specifically did, and obviously this is purely educational, not advice here by any stretch of the imagination, let's have a look at the price of gold. I'm looking at gold spot here, so the same lines can be drawn on, say, the GLD ETF or the futures. And what you can see here is the price of gold had a meaningful breakout, basically starting in February of 2024. It started to come out of an important base and started making some better moves already in the summer of 2023. But the real breakout basically took place in February and into essentially March of 2024. And from that point on, gold rallied about 71% from that breakout point. So that breakout point can be marked with a circle like such. All right, so that's the beginning of where we also were able to start drawing this channel, or at least a support line. We then started pushing higher, orderly, at times sharper moves and so on and so forth, and we finally overshot in a more meaningful way, essentially in the first half of April of this year, as the equity market started to see some dislocations due to the tariff news. And so on and so forth. And so, which now leaves us at the following spot. Now, we could make the case that gold might go all the way down to revisit the lower end of this band. That is certainly not unfeasible. Or it might just kind of find a pause here, more or less at the midpoint of this range, which is more or less exactly where, as I'm recording this here, this is a weekly candle. By the time you watch this, maybe it's below, maybe it's above. I don't know. But one could make the argument that maybe this is already a point where gold has kind of dropped enough. I think it's been like 10% or something. Yeah, 10%. So maybe, now it's going to start going higher. For me personally, I still think gold is in a very strong bullish trend that is absolutely unchanged. In fact, I'm going to quickly share with you what gold looks like on the market rover. Again, this is our trend following algorithm. Very, very, very powerful. Absolutely critical that every single person that is in the markets has a trend following algorithm. And you can see we received the buy signal in January 2024. Gold very much remains in a strong bullish trend. That is the green background color. And of course, that background color changes over time, right? If it were to go into a neutral trend, the background color would turn black. If it were to turn into a bearish trend, of course, the background color would be red. None of that yet. In fact, it's probably not even close to it. It's still very strongly bullish trend. So that has unchanged. So for me, here's what I did and what I'm doing. So I personally, just as more narrative purposes, so you can kind of understand how the kind of the thinking goes. I started buying gold somewhere around the latter part of the summer 2023, that area that I just mentioned before. And started adding to it a little bit all the way until, I think, October 2023 or so. And then, obviously, gold had a big move. I haven't sold a penny of gold. I really have no interest in selling any gold because the trends remain very bullish. Of course, if that were to change, I would change my posturing. So I remain gold. It's still personally my biggest position. However, as we started getting extremely overbought in April of 23, and I'm going to show you guys why I was getting that signal from our Vertical X Pro indicator. This is something that measures extreme overbought and extreme oversold readings. And you can see that on April 21st, literally the day before we had a big outside reversal day, on April the 22nd, I started hedging my long gold position. In fact, I own a lot of GLD and some other gold stuff, and I basically sold futures against my long position. I sold so many futures against it that I was actually, for a while, net short gold. So as of right now, I've reduced my hedge, so I'm more or less neutral gold. I'm hedged. I remain in my long position, and I would like to now see what happens to the price of gold. If the price of gold starts taking another leg lower, I, of course, will start getting rid of my hedge and take the full profits on the hedge and then probably at some point buy more gold. If we're bottoming out here and we'll be able to see this, how gold holds up and, quite frankly, what the dollar does, I'm also going to start essentially getting rid of my of my hedge. But I'm not quite sure I would be adding more gold up here. I would feel more comfortable if we were to be able to reach the lower and I have enough gold. I don't have to buy more. I wouldn't probably do that until we were to get down there. So that's just a bit of sort of narrating you guys through my thinking. Again, just educational. Hope it helps. See you in the next video.